My father introduced me to the world of books. My father told me that books, he who cannot read is not better than he who does not read.
Yes.
My father told me that when you read, you compress decades into days. What would have taken you years just by reading it into days. So thank God for parents. There is really no new year until there's a new you. So the new year begins the moment you find that, okay, let me start today. So if this day that you're watching this podcast becomes that day you realize, you come to that awareness that, okay, let me start my year right. It becomes a new year for you. I went for a program, and there was a certain man that came to that meeting. He was wearing a dark suit. I can't remember what he was wearing. And I sat down in front. It was a motivational program. His name is Dr. Sam Adeyemi. And he said to speak. I was listening. 17 years old. I was listening to him. I just said to myself, I want to do what that man is doing. I want to speak like him. And I started following up. Next thing I joined his mentorship program. Started going. That was 2001.
Okay.
And then I kept going, and I'm here where I am today as a result of that meeting. So we are products of meetings. Value is when you're able to solve your problem. That's what you need to start. Look for problems around you. What problem can you solve? The more problems you solve, the more money you're going to make.
2025 is moving fast already, just like tactical athletes who will exchange batons to secure a winner. But so many persons out there are not earning in dollars. They are not earning in millions. Most of them haven't even made their first 100K. As 2025 is accelerating in great speed, do you know that there are so many persons out there who have never hammered their first 500K, not to talk of a millionaire? So how can you become a millionaire in 2025? Hello, fantastic and amazing viewer. Anytime, any day, this is your ever-greening podcast host, Ekemini Ekwere, the host of Uproot the Issue podcast, meeting you this very hour. Of course, this is a solution-based and result-driven podcast that provides solution to practical issues you may be facing in life. And so this is a very special episode carved out and cooked for your viewing pleasure, which is insightful, helping you to carve out strategies, build yourself on self-growth so that you can win in 2025. I believe that you can win. We together, we will definitely win in 2025. And so if this is meeting you for the first time, one thing I don't like about you people is that you people don't love to share updates. I know they like that for no matter. So please help us share these updates. Of course, this is a very interesting episode for you. You want to earn higher. You want to earn in millions. You want to become a millionaire in 2025. You don't want to be receiving 50K as salary again. Why not join us in this conversation? Because this is definitely for you. So please help us locate Uproot the Issue podcast on YouTube. Click on the subscription button there and subscribe so that you'll be notified on diverse and interesting conversations, content that is coming your way. Of course, again, this is your podcast host. I'm inspiring. They call me the voice of essence, the voice of relevance, the voice of purpose, Ekemini Ekwere. So join us as we start the conversation. On this session on self-growth, we have here in the talk show room a professional motivational speaker. He is also a serial entrepreneur and public speaking coach. This author of best-selling books in public speaking. His proficiency in communication has taught him around Nigeria as he speaks in events, conferences, and seminars with very keen interest in helping people to overcome stage fright and become excellent speakers. Within the past 16 years, this amazing speaker has turned over 7,500 individuals into who we just made talkers into excellent, most influential, and highly sought after public speakers. He is the first Nigerian to be designated as a peak performance consultant. He has actually consulted and run consultancy jobs for training public organizations, including MTN, Vince Oil, Pearl Consult, and Rogers Foundation, amongst others. Distinguished viewers, in the talk show room is a father and the dean of the #1 leading public speaking institution in Nigeria, Podium Dynamics Academy, Dr. George Essien
Ekwere, your introduction is quite elaborate and I appreciate you. I see what you're doing. Well done. Great work you're doing.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining this year.
Yes.
When I reached out to you, I was like, oh God, this man has actually inspired so many persons out there. And he's actually a voice in our generation. Yes, this voice of continuity. So, sir, about how to become a millionaire in 2025, people would, you can't become a millionaire when you've not actually, prep your mind into seeing that becoming a millionaire is possible.
Some people would also say that 2025 is already running. Is it a good topic to discuss now? Yes. There is really no new year until there's a new you. So the new year begins the moment you find that, okay, let me start today. So if this day that you're watching this podcast becomes that day you realize, you come to that awareness that, okay, let me start my year right. It becomes a new year for you. So this conversation is timely. And I'm sure if you listen up, it will help you in many ways you can't imagine. So how to be a millionaire in 2025 is possible. And there are many, many ways to look. I'm going to share a formula.
Okay.
A very simple formula that if you apply it, it doesn't matter what industry that you are in or what you are doing or what you love to do. Or to understand that simple formula, you would surely make perhaps your first million, okay, or your first 10 million, or your first 20 million, or your first $1 million if you fully understand that simple formula that not just I, but many other persons use to succeed.
Okay, so Doctor, before we jump into the main, context of the conversation, I would love to ask you, when did you make your first millionaire?
Okay, so I made my first million in the year 2007. I was, not 2007, 2006, I'll say. I got my first consultancy job. It was $2 million from a company, an organization. I proposed a solution for them.
Okay.
And interestingly, it was in Uyo. It was a business school. I proposed a strategy and solution for them. And the offer was they should give me $2 million to deliver for them that solution. And for whatever reason, the CEO, I don't want to mention his name, an amazing person, just believed in me and then got to that contract. Eventually, I was able to get that $2 million. That was the first time I made my first $2 million. The second time was a year after I was leaving school and I communicated my vision to somebody and I was like, I like what you're doing. I'm going to invest $1 million. And that's how I got my first $1 million to do business and to do what I'm doing now. So it's very possible that I was 25, 26 when I made my first $1 million.
Doctor, that's serious. But no, you
only had $2 million.
Yeah, that's quite, you were very young because most businesses at 40, they have not even, received the sense of $1 million.
Yes. So the thing is that's why it's good to have awareness, to know what you're doing. You have knowledge, which we're going to share today. You can make your first $1 million at 19. It's easier to make $1 million or millions of naira this period than ever in history. I'm a millennial. Gen Zs are the most opportuned individuals because there's everything available for you to make millions. Everywhere, it's everywhere. So you just need to understand what to do and how to strategically position yourself, and then you make your money in 2025.
Wow. That is quite interesting, Doctor. Yes. So, talking about the whole million, most people will always say, I've not really established myself, I've not really discovered what I can use, to get on the track of making this millionaire. Okay, most people are still working, most of them want to be CEO of their own brand. So now, what was really that drive that keeps people moving so that you can discover those things you can do to get a millionaire?
So now, $1 million is less than $1,000. I hope you are aware. So should not. So I thought you would say $1 million.
Yeah.
I think it's just discovery. The pathway to success is the twin pathway to success. Is number one, personal discovery. That point where you suddenly realize, I can do this. I should be this. Personal discovery, and number two, personal development. So when you combine personal discovery and personal development, what you end up having is success. So the moment you find out that, look, I can become this, or I am this, I have this, I should do this. So when you're discovering yourself, a few things you want to discover. You want to discover purpose. Why am I here on earth? That's a very important question. Because someone said that the life of purpose is the purpose of life. Number two, you want to discover potential. What do I have? What talents, what skills, what ideas, what resources do I have? What information do I have? That's number 2. Number 3, you want to discover, as part of your personal discovery, you want to discover people. Who should I connect with? Who are my uplines? That is people that are mentors, teachers who have gone ahead of me. Who are my sidelines? Strategic partners that I can work with. And who are my downlines? People that look up to me and that can work as a team with me. Next thing you want to check out for, discover what are the principles and strategies that I can use to move my life forward. You have to find them. Then what phase am I in my life? So if you notice, I'm using PPPP.
Yes.
Purpose, potential, people, principles, phases of life. What phase am I in my life? Am I in my development phase? I may need to go an apprentice. I may need to intern. I may need to learn. Am I in my manifestation phase where I need to come out, take more risk? So you need personal discovery is the birthplace of any accomplishment, including success. So once you realize that, you're good to go. And it can happen today. It can happen now as we're listening. It's okay. For me, it happened when I was 17. I went for a program and there was a certain man that came to that meeting. He was wearing a dark suit. I can't remember what he was wearing. And I sat down in front. It was a motivational program. His name is Dr. Sam Adeyemi. And he said to speak. I was listening. 17 years old. I was listening to him. I just said to myself, I want to do what that man is doing. I want to speak like him. And I started following up. Next thing I did, I joined his mentorship program. Started going. That was 2001.
Okay.
And then I went, kept going, and I'm here where I am today as a result of that meeting. So we are products of meetings. So you're products of encounters. We are all products of encounters, meetings, books that we read. This can be that moment where you just listen and say, okay, I want to do what Jodison is doing. I want to do what a career is doing. I want to start a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that. And that begins for you. The next thing is, after you found purpose, who are the people that can help me? What are the principles and strategies that you use?
What are the phases?
What phase am I right now? And then you're good to go.
Wow, doctor. When you talked about your humble beginning, I was looking at that age, 26, you got your million. We should to be very sincere. At that time, Nigeria was a bit stable, and at the same time, you should have been a student at that.
Yeah, I was okay. I just finished school.
Okay.
Finished my first degree. Yes.
At Yaba.
I went to University of Uyo. So I did my first degree in University of Uyo.
So what were you actually doing aside from, I know you were into media.
Yeah.
So first from media, what also were you doing that time?
So I will tell you that. So let me quickly just reel out. Let me start reeling out the formula so I can help you. VVNF. I learned that years ago. VVNF. Anyone who learns this will help you. So I learned when I was a young person. What's the first thing you need to quickly identify? V means value. So the moment you can create value and add value, you're on your way to wealth. So for me, at that time, I identified what's value. Let me define what value is. Value is any product, any service, any individual that can solve a problem. That's what value is. Value is anything that can save you time, energy, and money. That's what value is. Value is anything that can bring joy, happiness to people. That's what value is. That's how I define value. So first of all, identify with a value. Doesn't have to be your passion. It could be your passion, your talent, but it can be anything. So at that time, while I was in school in my year 1, there used to be, during the election period, a lot of the Norfolk Lukes, the Kemini, there was some top guys there in school going for contesting for elections. So they had to do flyers. And I go to them and say, look, I can print flyers for you. So I would go, I'll go to EBM and I'll do it and bring for them and they'll pay me money for it. Student politics.
Yeah.
So I was making money. In fact, my bunkie, I was in M2, University of Uyo. His father was a printer, but he knew nothing about printing. I'll come back to class and I'll have to the hostel and I'll have so much money. I said, bro, how are you doing it? I said, your father is a printer. Why don't you know this thing? So one day I took him to EBM Street and I told him, I said, Nelson, sorry, I'm calling your name. I won't call your son name. Nelson, what I'm about to show you and teach you, it will feed you, it will feed your family. He thought I was joking. And then we did it. I showed him where to get paper, where to do lithography, how to do stuff. And then he said, getting to do flyers and programs for burials and all of that. So we're making money in school. Many years later, he reminded me, he said, George, you remember when you told me that what I'm about to show you will feed me and feed my family? He's actually feeding me and my family now. So Value is when you're able to solve a problem. That's what you need to start. Look for problems around you. What problem can you solve?
Yeah.
The more problems you solve, the more money you're going to make. How complicated the problem you solve, you're able to solve, the more money you're going to make. And that's very important. The kind of people whose problem that you solve, so you can solve problems for big people and you're going to get big money. So become a problem solver. Think in terms of value. You create value out of nothing. Go to a house, go to a street, look around. There's a lacuna, there's a gap, there's a need to be met that you can feel. Once you're able to do that, I mean, you'll be surprised that how much money you can make. A young man finished school, was at home, the place was dirty, the street was dirty. So he got to every house and gave them a flyer that, look, I'll come and pick up your trash for, was it 2,000 naira every month? He went to meet his uncle, got his uncle to give him his old truck, repaired it. He would go and pick the trash. So 2,000 times 36 houses.
That's huge.
You know, he was doing that every month. He was doing 2,000 times 36. That's a lot of money. Maybe 72K. But he was making connects with those people. They say, can you come and clean inside the house? He'll charge more. Before you knew it, my office. So he moved from being a local person to becoming a contractor that cleans massive places, and he makes money. So solve problems, create value. Sometimes you may just add value. So the difference between creating value and adding value. Creating value means that you come up with you see a need and you meet it. You come up with a solution from nothing. But adding value is see an existing product or service, then improve on it. Make it better. Look at the dry cleaning sector. What can I do to make this different? Look at the food industry. In 2013, somebody got 10 million from the government. We both got 10 million from the government. What was she pitching? She was like, rather than me have a restaurant where people will come to eat, why don't I go to them using the internet? That time it was not as popular as we have it now. So she created a website and she used social media. Before we could say Jack Robinson, people were coming ordering for Afang support, and so she did an innovation. I mean, our landlord will see her. I mean, cooking, nobody's coming in there, but bikes are delivering. So she innovated. So when you create value, you are an entrepreneur. When you add value, you are an innovator. You are an innovator. But there's another thing I want to say before we go on.
Okay.
We're still talking about value. See, you can have a fantastic product, like we have this beautiful water here.
Yeah.
And then we have wealth here. This is value, this is wealth. The distance between value and wealth is communication. The space between that valuable skill that you have, that valuable talent, that valuable product, that valuable service, and the money and the wealth you're looking for, the space is communication. The communication gap. So there's something called value proposition. That is how you propose your value. So you can have something good, but if you don't know how to communicate it and sell and market it, you won't access the wealth that you want. So money is like a woman. She needs to be chiked and wooed. You know, you need to convince for her to come on board in the team.
Wow.
So let's start with that first, V. I've explained, I hope I've done justice for V. So solution-based, go out there, start thinking in terms of solutions or problems you can solve, products you have, and all of that.
Okay, so Doctor, before we move to the next V, you know, I discovered that at the age of 8, that was the very first time you had the privilege of starting your journey in public speaking. And so the first competition you went for was quite successful. But 7 years later, the whole school, everyone's hope for victory in that competition was on you, and you actually disappointed them at the 3rd round.
Yes.
You know, at that point, I know the feeling that comes in when you are the last hope, and then you fail their hands. And so I'm asking you now, how will you feel? How was the
painful thing? The painful thing was that the school was the only private school. So the rest were public schools. So you can imagine the embarrassment. I felt terrible, and I made up my mind I wasn't going to speak again. I wasn't going to do any form of debate or have any conversation about that subject. But life has taught me that failure is not final. Failure should not be fatal. Failure is a bend, not the end. We shouldn't make a monument out of failure. It should just be a fleeting moment. Failure is not final. So failure is only an opportunity to begin again intelligently. So for me, I've learned that I fail forward. Failure is a major part of the success process. You're going to fail many times. Anybody that tells you you're not going to fail is doing you evil, because success can be your own doing. You need to fail to learn, learn, succeed, fail, learn, succeed. Every successful person you see has failed many times. I've failed in business many times. I've lost millions.
I read that when you had a pitch in Ghana and you lost a whole lot.
A lot of money. We've made mistakes, but we keep going back, learning our lessons and going back. So that experience as a young person got me down. But I thank God for friends. I thank God for family members. I had a fantastic father. Yesterday, 3 days ago, was my dad's birthday. And I was thinking about him, about his contribution. I'll tell you what, Ekore, I was an extremely shy person.
Yeah, I knew that.
Actually, it was such an issue that my father made me a biological pet project. He said I was antisocial because I was more like a recluse. I'll stay in my home. I was very good at drawing, painting, writing, doing things within, like a recluse. So, but my dad was like, this young man, you're my first son. Come out.
You can't
You can't be behind the background. I have to come. And so he forced me to face people. He forced me to stand, and I'm grateful to him. One of the best things you can have is good parents. If you're a Gen Z going to become a parent, think about that. If you are somebody who has the privilege of having good parents, there's nothing as good as. So my parent helped me a lot. My father introduced me to the world of books. My father told me that books, he who cannot read is not better than he who does not read.
Yes.
My father told me that when you read, you compress decades into days. What would have taken you years just by reading it into days. So thank God for parents. So what made me come back out of that, will I call it quagmire or disillusionment, was because I had a fantastic, encouraging parent, particularly my dad.
But you see, Doctor, unlike you, actually, my family members, I would love to say this every time, that now my sisters and my mom, God rest his soul, my father, my mom would just be looking at me, I'm so proud and smiling. But as I turn back and look at myself, let's say 2009, I can remember vividly well that none of them actually supported the aspect of me that has to do with talking. They called me talkative. This boy you are talking to, but what is your problem? And at some point, I would say that my first place of depression from my passion was at home. Yeah, because they were actually singing this talking of a thing to be a distraction for me, that I'm talking too much, I'm being too loud. That time now, who would know that maybe public speak, it's you might make it professional or something. So when I look at myself today, I believe there are some of I think I have friends that they are talkative naturally, but then the environment, their parents, they suffer a lot from. Yes, it's not encouraging. So, but you talked about parenting now, and I one of your books, I saw that you are actually owing your success, your motivation, your courage to your dear mom.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah. So now, what is the role of parenting in encouraging this talent?
A lot. So, like I thought the question you would ask me would be, what if I don't have encouraging parents or encouraging siblings? What do I do? Look for other parents. Thank God for church. Thank God for pastors. Thank God for counselors. Thank God for mentors. There are lots of people you can connect with. So look out for people that can encourage you. If you feel, if there's a strong inkling in your spirit that this is what I should do, I don't know why, I don't know how, this is what I should do, look out for people that can encourage you and then gravitate towards them. And if you're a parent and you're listening to me, I would encourage you to, what I do for my children is I expose them. I don't want them to become doctors and lawyers and engineers. No. I look at what they are doing. My younger daughter, that's Michelle, she likes to draw. So what I do is I get a lot of scrapbooks for her. She said, Daddy, I want more papers. I give her. I don't know, I want her to be something else, but let me encourage what she's doing.
She's doing, yeah.
If tomorrow she says she wants to be an artist, she wants to do fine and industrial arts, no problem. No stopping you. Allow her to flow with her, because that's what really education is. Edusere means from within.
Yes.
You know, from within, yes. But what we do in the conventional school is they're imposing knowledge on us.
Yes.
And that's not what education is. So the best that can happen to you as a parent is to get your child to find themselves and then to develop that part of them. So that's what you should do. Look out for kids and allow them to be positioned properly in life.
So now, if what is a situation where, just take an instance where the child loves singing, is into music. Once all he needs to do is see himself as maybe a rapper or something. What the father here, you know, being a rapper and living the gospel music, maybe the father is kind of a church person, a pastor. Now, is it wrong for the father to tell the child, no, look, this is not the path you should go. Let me make or go to this path, or maybe persuade me? Because I have several situations and instances where parents do discourage their children.
That's a very difficult question. So, you know, that's a very difficult. Why is it difficult? Parents are at liberty to train their children the way they want their children to go. So, and there's a biblical verse that says, train your child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart. Most of these parents do it out of love. They truly want the best for their children. They don't feel going that path will help them succeed.
Yes.
So that's understandable. What I would encourage children who are in that situation to do is follow the path. Your daddy wants you to go to school. Go to school. I have a medical doctor friend who actually went to university, got the certificate and submitted the certificate to her parents. I said, have I done your parts? Thank you. This is your work. You went back to fashion.
Oh.
And she's doing fashion now. Para Doroto is a lawyer. So lawyer, and she's so you see, so you can just do that for your parents. I won't encourage you to disobey your parents. They really mean well for you.
So you know, no place to discourage. They've
Okay. That.
So if this is meeting you for the first time, note that personal development is a birthplace for accomplishment. And before you aim to become a millionaire, know that money is just like a woman that you're trying to check. Yes, you need to have the soft spot where you can trigger it on and aim it. Remember that value is ineffectible. No one on earth can detest. Nature will never, and no one will abuse value if you make your value to be feasible. They can't doubt your capabilities if you have the potentials. So this is a life-changing podcast session on how to become a millionaire in 2025 with the number 3rd most outstanding motivational speaker in Nigeria by Google search after Obong Essien and Sam Adeyemi, Dr. George Essien. He's from Akwa Ibom. So this man that is going global now, you are seeing everywhere. The man, now this place, see, be an Akwa Ibomites, please be clapping for yourself because we have brands all everywhere. So Dr. George, you see, for one thing that I've actually been an inspiration, I do tell you that you have been kind of inspiration to me because you've been in this job and you've been through, you know, you've been through the toughest, you've experienced the toughest period of your life. And with that, you've always been on this journey. And so in your book here, I've seen that chapter 3 of, yes, by the way, this is Speech Power. Remember during the intro, I told you that he's an author of best-selling books in public speaking. So if you want to overcome stage fright, you want to encourage your enemy to be your supporter. Your enemy can support you, yes. In fact, I do tell people that it's a sacrilege to go out on a date. If you want to win a lady's heart, read chapter 6 of this book. Persuasion, you can win a lady's heart. Sharp. She will not say anything. She will just give you if she can even kneel down and propose on your, you know how this thing works. So yeah, chapter 3 of this book actually talks about how you can create your own atmosphere as a speaker. Okay. So now over here, Dr. George, particularly, I learned that you see, we young persons, we're actually looking at this money. We can't, I know they do anything where money no they come out to. That's mostly the phrase that is always used by young persons. You know, they are driven by the money, the immediate gain, you know, they see. And so I've discovered like most of the outstanding public speakers like Zig Ziglar, who had 3,000 speeches before he was ever paid. Yeah. Even had someone that spoke for 30 years before. I think that should be Dr. Miles Monroe. You know, I think his net worth was $5,000 per an hour we had so many fantastic. I believe your first speaking, you became professional in 2005, if I'm not mistaken.
I wasn't earning as much. So for those of you who want to make money from your talent, whether it is singing, comedy, podcasting, whatever it is that you're doing with your talent, you need to give it out, serve it out free for a long time before people will now recognize you. So be willing to give it out free. Somebody was telling me the other day, say, George, when I have my video, my YouTube channel or my podcast, I don't want to be giving out free information. About I do free things. Give it out for free. Let me tell you something. Somebody watched my YouTube video and listened and said, this is so good. Got my number and called me. So, sir, you the one that did that video? Say, I'm the one that did the video. I like the content. Can you come to my organization and teach the same thing? Don't change it. Don't add. The same thing you did on the YouTube. Come to my organization and teach. And he paid me some very good amount of money for that. So be willing to give out free information, free, deliver your talent for free initially until that point where people will now start saying, how much do we pay you for a service? That time will come.
Okay. So that means
consistency is very, very important.
So even if
consistency in delivering value, delivering value, dishing out value is very important. Eventually, money gravitates towards value. Money will respond to you, eventually.
So when in situations like this where this money is not coming, I mean, if the cash is not, because now they see money, they get motivation. So if the money is not coming at this, what we should do is try as much as possible to stay on the value.
Yes.
Giving out value.
Yes. Make sure you're solving problems. Yes. Make sure you're solving problems. So there's a lot to talk about. There are people that say, follow your passion. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you need to survive, if you need to survive for now, sell something. Or if you need to survive for now, take a product, maybe that is not yours, and sell.
So how do you get to sell the product?
Walk into any company, tell them, look, I want to sell your product for you. Most organizations are looking for individuals, young people
that are good in influencing marketing.
Yes, that can move product from the counter to the consumer. They're looking for you. There is no organization you walk into in Ikotekmane Road or Wrong Road, Waniba, that will not say, okay, don't give me the products. Just give me your catalog. Give me your list. Don't give me salary. Give me commission. One of the biggest things my dad taught me at the time was commission is greater than salary. I won't forget it. Don't give me salary. Just give me commission. Start on that note. One commission can dwarf any salary you think of earning. And these days, what is trendy now is real estate sector.
Yes.
Even as a young person, you can go to these real estate companies. I want to sell for you. Tell me, put me through, and start. You'll be surprised. That's not passion. You can even bring some of your ideas that you
have from your other
into it, and you start that way to earn some money. Before you know it, you make your sell. If land is too much of a big deal for you, there are many other things you can do. Very many other things you can do. Thank God for the internet. So the internet is a game changer.
Yeah.
Go to a company, go to a supermarket, or go to a boutique. Tell them, I want to sell for you. Snap. How much this? How much this? How much this? Put on top. Go to social media. Go to Facebook. Go to Instagram. Post it. Post it. Be surprised. Your friends will begin to look at it. If you want to take it a step further, take 5,000 naira, create a Facebook ad, run it. Target your community. One or two people will come, you sell, you go to that place, pay them their money, collect the product, and go and deliver. So to survive, you sell. To make big money, you think in terms of value and consistently so.
Right. Yeah. So, Doctor, you see, one of the greatest public speaker in Akwa Ibom State, Raphael Eden, once said that many people fear public speaking than death, but the greatest fear is the fear of speaking in the public. And so whenever you want to speak, know that 80% in the audience that are actually watching you cannot do what you are actually doing.
Amazing.
And so this is quite fantastic motivation. I wouldn't really say it's a motivational quote, but a beacon of confidence for you as a speaker. So speech power, becoming a commanding communicator, is the the fastest and best-selling public speaking book authored by Dr. George Essien. He has been in this business since 1999. 3rd and 4th of February.
Yes,
Don't play. We should even celebrate 26 years anniversary. Wow.
So this was my first book. And lots of ideas. Like you mentioned, is a chapter that has persuasion. If you're somebody who wants to persuade, that's a great book. In business, in order to make a million, you need to learn persuasion. Like I said, the gap between value and wealth is value proposition, communication. So how do you persuade people? There's a difference between presentation and persuasion.
Sure.
So this will help you. Also have another book. Maybe you're interested in dealing with stage fright. You mentioned stage frights severally.
Yes, overcoming stage fright. Yeah. So that's the greatest fear people have.
Not just stage fright, walking up to somebody who has the money to help you and asking him for money. Yeah. So we have a book called Speak Like a Pro. It contains the mechanics of public speaking and presentation. So this is one fantastic book that I can assure you, these are arguably two of the best-selling books when it comes to public speaking in Nigeria. All right, then there's a last book current book too. Now, most of you have visions, you have a lot of ideas. How do I pitch? By the way, in 2013, I was able to pitch my first 10 million. At the time, it was $80,000. I was telling somebody, I said, if you do the math now, $80,000 multiplied by 1,500 naira, you got to know the value of 10 million naira as at 2013. Now, that's a lot of money. But so how do you pitch? Because there would be opportunities for you it's not enough to have an idea. How do you pitch that idea and get investors? There are investors that you may need to give you money. Investors like VCs. VCs are venture capitalists.
Yeah.
They want equity, but they will give you seed. And you need to think along those lines. You want to make money. What idea do you have, and how do you pitch that idea to VCs, angel financiers?
Yeah.
How do you pitch to board of directors? How do you push to donor agencies? That's how you should start thinking if you're going to make millions. So start with thinking value. What product, what service, what talent, what skill do I have right now that I can bring to the marketplace? Because life is a marketplace. What can I bring to the market? That's how you have to think in 2025. And if it's not good enough, how do I develop it? Who do I meet to develop that thing towards commercial value? Then you come to the marketplace. So you think value. Then also, when it comes to wealth, you must think volume. V stands for value. The other V stands for volume. Do I have, if for whatever reason, this goes viral?
Yeah.
What we are doing now is value.
Yeah.
What if it goes viral? Everybody starts talking about it. It could come to so and so place. Come here. Do you have the capacity to handle the volume of requests? So you must prepare and think in terms of volume. That's the next V. The next thing, N, think numbers. Think numbers is think, okay, I have this book. I sold thousands of these books materials.
Yeah, please, you get to tell us the price and how we can get to it.
I sold thousands, and when I tell person this is a product, as a person who is talented, I'm a talented speaker, you must always have a product.
Yeah.
So you can't be a talented musician and not have a CD. So
what do you even have to show? What do you want to show? Evidence a day.
So because you can put a price on your product.
Yes.
People can negotiate, your service, but it's very difficult. You can peg a price on your products, and that's it. So when you have a product like that, the next thing is, how do I sell this product? Like I said, thank God for the internet. I lived in Uyo for many years. So when I spoke to my friend who is in Canada right now. I won't mention his name, but in 2012 he came to Uyo to listen to my seminar and said, "George, you speak so well. You have this thing so well. Are you online?" I said, "What do you mean online? I have a blog." He said, "Do you have a website?" I said, "I don't have a website." I said, "No, go and get a website." So he told me the price at the time. I put up a website with following some SEO ideas. SEO means search engine optimization.
Yes.
2 weeks after I put up that website, I got a job from a bank. I was invited this is in 2013. I was invited from Uyo to Lagos to facilitate a training, and I was paid my first $1,000. Yes, from a bank. And I'm like, wow. And I started getting a lot of invites because I was strategically positioned on the internet. And in more recent times, Facebook has allowed Facebook, Meta, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn have allowed you to take your product.
Run ads.
I want ads.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a big.
Why are you doing organic? What's the organic thing you're doing? You keep struggling because the algorithm of social media has been tweaked to not favor you. Less than 30% of the people that watch your content, your friends see your content. You want more people to see your content. Take 5K. Take 2,000 naira. Put your product online. Target where you want to go. Let me tell you how powerful that is. I'm in New York. Last year, I made up my mind, I want to take my public speaking school across Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I said I was going to go to Port Harcourt. So I started off in Port Harcourt. My charge was 75,000 naira. I invested heavily on ads. So I had ads, a sales funnel, and I got results. Sales funnel means the journey that the prospect goes through in order before they make a buying decision.
Yes.
So we filled the hall in Port Harcourt. We've done 7 or 8 cohorts in Port Harcourt. Each of them paying 75,000. Sometimes we have 20. In January of this year, we had 42 students paying 75,000. I told all of them, I said, every one of you came as a result of Facebook ads. That's not.
Even the
Abuja. I said, I was here. I don't know anybody. I paid my flight ticket. I did it. Got to Abuja, paid for the venue. We have some venues that are affordable. I saw 13 persons come at 150,000. In January, we had 18 people at 150,000 in Abuja. Next week, I'm going to Abuja again. Every single one of them came from Facebook ads.
And even, I think this book was
sales funnel results.
Even this book, I think you marked outside to Ghana. I can remember very well. I was like, wow.
So that's why when I told you at the beginning that this is your Gen Z, your generation is the luckiest generation in the world.
But people didn't really realize the power of Facebook ads. Not
those Facebook ads,
Instagram
ads, TikTok. You'll be amazed. Once you have value, there's somebody out there looking for that thing that you have. Just show forth yourself. Just show forth your product, your service. You'll be surprised. And when it comes, have volume, have capacity. And so numbers is important. Think in terms of numbers. Do I have the numbers? That's why not all products are good products. A product that has numbers, that is, think in terms of how many customers do I have?
Okay.
Where are my customers? Where are they concentrated? How densely where is that density? Where are they populated? Where do they congregate? You think along those lines. Like Gen Zs are on TikTok.
Oh God.
Gen Zs are on
That's where you can find them.
Who find them there? Do you know Pella? Is it Pella?
Yes, Pella.
These guys are making crazy money on TikTok. And I'm like, what this guy is doing it? I mean, such that Davido and a few others, Tiwa Savage.
Grammar too much.
It was grammar. It's content now. Everything is content. That's TikTok. So Gen Zs are on TikTok. Millennials are on Facebook, are on Instagram.
And even LinkedIn. The professionals are on
LinkedIn. Yeah. So be strategically positioned. If you want to get a company to do business with you, beyond the social media handle, you need to have a website.
Wow.
Because having a website gives them that realization that you are serious. Go and pay for a domain name. So you think numbers. The last one, which is very important, and is a pathway to wealth, frequency. Repeat order. Any business that you do that does not allow the person to come back again and again and again is not a solid business. Successful people look for products that have repeat order. So let me give an example. You recharge your phone every day. So you see that Denuga, whoever owns Globalcom, or whoever owns MTN or Airtel, have created a product, a valuable product that reaches out to a number of people that has volume, but their product is such that you must come back the repeat order,
whether you like it
or not, and that increases cash flow. So as a business person, think of a product that is valuable, that has volume, that has the numbers, and has frequency. So for me as a trainer, I'll create a subscription program, a membership program that every month, for you to be part of that program, you keep paying. Or a school, that every month you pay fees, or a church, that every day you pay offering. So that's how the world they think. They think frequency. Frequency determines cash flow. So that's why successful people sell consumables. Any product, Dangote will sell fuel, salt, sugar.
That man is everywhere.
Cement.
I would like salt.
Salt. So that's how to think. What product can I sell that can bring money on a regular?
And it's something that is sustainable.
Like in the speaking profession now, being an MC is a fantastic, initially I had that pressure. It was difficult for me because being an MC is a good model.
Yes.
Because every weekend, if you are very competitive and you are very strong, every weekend you can get a wedding.
There's no that is about 15K.
Yes. So that's how you're thinking. So for me, who is a speaker, what I now did is I created a school that every month. So think frequency, think subscription, think membership sites, think even your business. You're running red dry cleaning, go to compounds, tell them, look, don't pay me now. Every month, I'll take all your clothes, go wash them. Every month, pay me XYZ amount. They'll be more comfortable with that. Have like 10, 20, 30 people doing that for you. Before you say Jack Robinson, you'll be on your way to millions. So we've done VVNF. Value, volume, numbers, frequency, particularly frequency.
Wow, Doctor. So, Doctor, quickly before we talked about them, you as every time you're talking about marketplace, persuasion, communication. Those are the three things we hear you, especially sales. Yeah. You said that if you want to become successful, know how to sell. But quickly before we move into that, I have two persons that I promised I will bring that question on set here. Okay, one is one has actually been following you for things since I believe he was inspired by what I'm doing. Seeing I was okay, guy, we will train you. I said that man held my hands. He believes so much in me. Okay, so and I must really be grateful to you because we were paying 30,000 at time, but then you gave me a scholarship, and that is where I am today. I believe you even see 75,000 be the next fee. So if you like join Podium Database. It's either you join or you forget about it, you don't get it. So he asked me a question to ask you, and those are the two questions I would really love to ask. And he's a student of Akwa Ibom State Polytechnic. His name is Emediong Isaac. So Emediong, if you're watching this now, I'm asking your question now before you strangle me. Okay, so Doctor, he asked, remember, you have actually created a hub for all orators in Nigeria through Conference of Orators. Okay, so if this is meeting you every for the first time, note that we have a huge event where all orators, those that are good in public speaking, or even if you have the inspiration of coming into the field of, remember, we don't do talking, we speak, because we speak with a message, we speak with relevance. Okay, so you need to differentiate and distinguish to that. So if you are interested, there is a networking community that is convened by Dr. George every blessed. I think it's something that we do it quarterly. Yeah. Okay, so it's called Conference of Orators, where speakers get to meet. We network. It's just like a homecoming for every speaker in Nigeria. And so Dr. George has a school in Abuja. Dr. George has. I think we are trying to work where we can get a school in Lagos.
Yes,
we are situated in the city of Port Harcourt. We are in Owerri and we are in Uyo.
Yes,
the main heart of that. We are in Abuja. So we have spread tentacles wide. So now this question is coming from Emediong Isaac, and the question is, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in coordinating public speaking events, and how did you overcome it?
Wow, that's a very many challenges. First, acceptance. When I started in Akwa Ibom, people were saying, "Are you a pastor? What are you doing?
What is this guy doing here? You doing? I just read this.
Are you a pastor? Are you a pastor? Is it a church program? Man of God." No. But I'm like, I'm not a pastor. I'm a professional speaker. So acceptance and understanding what I was doing was a problem. But now it's different.
Yeah.
For that time, people didn't understand.
People didn't know what is public speaking was.
When you now do it, they say, why should we pay for this? So that was a problem I faced initially. Acceptance, understanding, and then making people pay for knowledge. I can get this from books, I can get it from YouTube and so on. So that was a challenge I had in Uyo. And then hunger. I didn't have cash, because people don't give you money. That means there's
so I had to do other. That money motivation, no.
Yes, I had to do other. I had to sell things. I had to look for products to sell.
Yeah.
I did forex. I did crypto. I sold things. So shoes. I did plenty things. I did network marketing,
so many
things, just so as to pay the bills while still pursuing what I do. That was a challenge. How did I overcome? I was perseverant. I persevered.
We're consistent,
being consistent, and thank God for we're not where we want to be yet, but we're not where we used to be. When I look at my income, I was telling my wife the other day, I was in my income, and then we do millions a month. Not much I can say from our revenue. I look at how much.
Because we are almost everywhere.
Yeah, we've come along. We thank God. We thank God.
Yeah,
and we do millions, because if you have 17 people giving you 150,000 naira,
that's huge.
If you have, we had 42 people
currently in this cohort, right?
The first cohort, January cohort.
Okay.
We have 22 this cohort. Our 22 in January. If you have them giving you 50,000 in Port Harcourt, we have people giving you 80. That's from. I've sold 15,000 copies of these books.
My God.
Okay, so let me tell you what's up. Say you want to make money in 30. Is it not 30K?
Buy this book.
Let me tell you some. Maybe at the end of this meeting, I'll show you my dashboard, my Meta dashboard. That's in January alone. I invested 750,000 naira on Facebook ads.
That's almost it's 250 that is left to be a millionaire.
The millionaires. So far I've spent almost 300K for ads. Last month was 400,000 on ads to promote my products and my service. And the thing about ads is that when you run ads is that the minimum you do is times 5. You need to have mind. In 2025, say God, pray, say God, Father of mindset, give me the heart to do things. And this figure I'm telling you now is small. I met a certain student he's into e-commerce. He does drop shipping. So I'll tell you briefly before we close. Listen to this drop shipping. He doesn't have to warehouse the products. The products come from Canada. Was it Canada or China? From China. He doesn't have to bring it to Nigeria. All he does is every week he does, to be truthful, he said 500K worth of ads. He's targeting Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, then does Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon. He's pumping ads. He's promoting that particular product. When they order it and pay him, he sends money. He already sent money to, he sends money to China. China will send it not to him, directly to the buyer. So with his brand, they'll put his brand around it and send it from China to the buyer, whether they're in Cameroon, Abuja. So the product don't even reach Nigeria. And he's 25 years old.
This is serious.
Ikwa. We call him Ikwa. He's in this town. He spends 500K every week on ads, selling all kinds of products online. He does drop shipping. He cannot give you any of his products. You're not his target market. His target market is outside. From here, he's doing that, and he's making millions. You see, sometimes he can do 2 million, 3 million, 4 million a week from selling products. So when he gets those amount of money, his mindset is 30% must go back into ads.
That's the frequency we've been talking about.
When he gets the money, he takes out 150.
Pay tithes more.
Okay, and he pays tithes. However he pay, I don't know. But he takes 150,000 naira and runs the ad. So that's the frequency we're talking about every week. For ads to be effective, they must be sufficient and consistent.
Okay, doctor. So let me also ask, it seems he has 2 questions. So the next one is, what inspired, drink your water.
Good. I'll take it.
What inspired you to become a public speaking coach? Because you've been training people I think over 7,500 for the past since 2015.
That's a very good question. And people don't know that my passion initially was business. When I started doing trainings, I was encoding startups. I used to do a lot of startup seminars. But when I do these seminars, people will come after me and say, sir, you're such a blessing. I like the way you talk. I like the way you speak. Can you teach me how to speak? Me, I was talking business. You are telling me speaking. So the more they kept saying it, I now realized that, okay, why don't we create an academy or a product that will solve that problem. And that's how I started. That would inspire me to start teaching other people how to speak. That's the answer to that question.
Wow. So Dr. George has been training several persons, likes of Nita Ray. Yeah, Nita Ray is here. He's a good spoken word artist here in Akwa Ibom. We have so many persons that have been through Podium Dynamics.
And they're here very well.
A product.
I do very well.
And this is a testament that the coach is actually a mentor, and he is a one person that his hand is always ready every day, anytime, to embrace those that he nurtured. So I've never seen anyone leaving Podium Dynamics and won't come back to tell Daddy, for the blessings and for everything I am today, I owe it to you, because Dr. George is this mentor that keeps on following you to check up on what you are doing. So if you don't know Podium Dynamics Academy, we are everywhere. Yeah, we is sure for you. You want to overcome stage fright, you have issue with facing the crowd, everywhere it's a solution best for you. And the last question from this fantastic gentleman that I think he won, when he was a student, he actually won, I think, a Millionaire.
Wow.
In an essay competition sponsored by the state government. So that's how I got to know him, and we went together for I think Compass Clinic that was hosted by Sarah Falede. Okay. So when we got to talk, I discovered that he's very fluent, he's eloquent, but there's a little bit touches, in into, and that's why he first moved into leadership at More Leadership Academy. From then, he has interest in public speaking. So he's a young leadership enthusiast that has sifrege done. So the question here I'm going to ask Dr. George here is asking you, how are you able to speak excellently without flaws?
Yeah, I wonder, we have flaws. No, so one of the reasons people don't want to speak is because they have this mindset of perfectionism.
Yes, that's what I keep telling people. God,
I still make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes and I improve myself. There was a time when I wasn't particular about my pronunciation, but I met Mrs. Ekong. I felt, Mrs. Ekong, I said, no, I need to, even though, because I'm a public speaker and I'm a public speaker,
you need to polish your pronunciation.
And we still do that. So there's no one that is perfect. You keep learning. Give yourself challenges. Like I just finished 30-day idiomatic expressions. That's improving on my capacity to use idioms when I'm expressing myself.
Yeah.
In January, my challenge was 30 days, do a 30 days borrowed English words, improve them. Like, for example, words like sachet water. It's not sachet, sachet. You pronounce the word properly, entrepreneur, not entrepreneur. He also pronounced the word consultant. So there are many things I started to learn. So we make mistakes and we improve on them. So please, I am not perfect. I'm never perfect. I keep learning and improving myself.
Okay, so before it's skipped on me or it slipped my memory, I will get to the final question. By the way, that's an idiomatic expression. It's not a...
Yes, the idiomatic expression.
So, Doctor, the last question is, you've always been talking about communication, marketplace, sales, persuasion. I'm so particular and I want you to, in let's say 2 minutes, compress your answer. How do I get to, like, someone that is just, I have a good service, okay? I may have by the way, we get to market product or service. So I may have a service, but I don't know what, the most difficult thing you can do is to convince another person to buy into your idea. Okay? So now how do I get to persuade someone? And I said, well, how do I get to sell anything to anybody?
So my book is coming out April 2nd, How to Sell Anything to Anyone. That's a very long question. So what I encourage you to get the book April 2nd of this year. We'll come up with how to sell anything to anyone. There's also a thought here on persuasion.
Persuasion, yes.
How you can market. But please learn how to market and go for knowledge. The knowledge is available for you to help you succeed. That's how to answer that question.
Okay. So yes, everything cannot be unleashed in a minute. So try as much as possible, get the speech power. We have Speak Like a Pro, and we have from ideas to implementation. This is Dr. George, number 3 outstanding motivational speaker by Google search after Ubong Essien and Sam Adeyemi. You can do that now and you find out that will be the response. So he is on Facebook. George Essien is also, he has a website, Instagram, everywhere. But Dr. George, we as a summary, I would love us to tell the viewers how do we get to have one-on-one mentorship, or how do we get to, draw from your wealth of experience? How can we reach you?
So you can reach me on Facebook, George Asian. Any of the George Asians that you see, the man with the glasses. On Instagram, also George Asian. You can also check out dr.georgeasian.com, dr.georgeasian.com, and then you get to connect with me. I reach out to anybody, just send me a WhatsApp message and I'll respond to you almost immediately. Wish you the best. Think big. All things are possible.
Okay. So, Doctor, before we call it a wrap, what is your message to a Nigerian who is not doing anything at the moment, or who is not employed, or
so don't be
who
proud.
has something?
Don't be all employed people are proud people. Yeah. They are proud because if you can sell, there's a job for you. Oh, so go out there, market, you will succeed. Trust me on that.
Don't be proud. You shouldn't be proud. If you know how to sell, even if you don't have anything doing at the moment,
There's a
take
job
it up,
for you.
take it a task, take it as a major priority to learn on how to sell. If you can sell, I bet you can actually compress success that would have happened in decades in days. So this has been a very worthwhile, inspiring, and fantastic session with Dr. George Asian, because I believe that in 2025, success is inevitable, and it all begins with a mindset. And so believe that personal development is a birthplace for accomplishment. If you so believe in your potentials, I've been telling you every time, any day, no one will ever doubt the value, because people don't know how to reject value. So build your value today. Have a mindset that you will grow. If you need to visualize yourself into being a millionaire, of course, you can earn in millions and you can be making millions of naira. Facebook ads, through ads, Instagram ads. You have so many places, marketplace communication. You can get to convince people to buy from you. You can also get to pitch, yes, for brands, please. The best way of promoting yourself is by pitching, okay? You have partners, you want to make more partners, you want to pitch your products to Dragon. So why not just learn the art of pitching? This will happen in public speaking. So public speaking is a diversified skill that you should need to have, because it's the most outstanding global soft skill in the world. Of course, anytime, any day, I love you guys. And this is why I'm always here, because you are my source of inspiration. At Uproot the Issue podcast, you remain our ultimate priority. Until next episode, please stay safe.